Hey, it's Stu, and there's a glare of the light, but there's also that glow that one gets when they finish a really enjoyable, spectacular, thoughtful, engaging book. And I just did. I read so many books recently that I feel like they're spoiling me for mediocre books, but I'm not here to talk about that. That will be in the review video. This is a haul video because it's Thursday, and that's my haul day for now. Things will change after the new year for sure, for several reasons, but here's my beautiful tote that I got from the Friends of the Library, where I convinced myself that about the $30 to fill it is my limit. And there we go. I'm not setting very strict limits. Let's talk about what's in it. Okay, total impulse buys. They were sitting on top of the dollar mass market paperback stack, and I said, you know what? There's a booktuber named Taylor. I don't know her handle or anything because I'm crap at that, and I know that she loves mass market paperbacks. So my thought is, I'll see if I read these. Like, it's not my classic season, but there is something really joyful about finding these old, delicious versions and even wanting to read from them, which will indeed require reading glasses for me at this point. But I don't know. There's just so much nostalgia around that. So this is two shorter novellas by Herman Melville, Typee, and Billy Budd. Did not like Billy Budd at all when I was in high school. Actually talked about it with one of the volunteers who didn't remember him reading Melville at all in high school, which maybe, you know, different lit requirements, different ages. I have never heard of Typee, and I think Melville probably doesn't stand the test of time in some ways, but maybe does in others, and therefore, why not? Like, you cannot buy anything for $1. You can't even leave $1 tip for your coffee anymore, honestly. So I decided to grab this. Likewise, this lovely hardback was once $1.50 in its prime. Version of Persuasion by Jane Austen. I have another beautiful Jane Austen book on my shelf, which I've never read. Do I remember reading Persuasion? No. Might I have? Probably. I have to read and the 52 book club challenge, something written in the 1800s. So let's see if this will fit the bill. Well, maybe I can't tell from here. It's 1964, this publication, which, y'all, books for $1, hardbacks were $1.50 in 1964. If we were to look at a recent hardback, let's see if I can find a recent one that's not book of the month. Nope, that's book of the month. Here, Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkinson. What was $28 in 2023, I think, when that came out. $1.50, 1964. What a fantastic edition. It's got a little damage here. There's something really joyful about also keeping these books alive. And the last of that series is The Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut Jr. I did read this book. Slaughterhouse-Five is the book that I remember most by Kurt Vonnegut. And what I remember about it is getting unstuck in time. That concept still really sticks with me. Does Kurt Vonnegut stand the test of time? I don't know. I think it's kind of fun to imagine, and then, you know, then I don't want to read once beloved authors to me and then find out that they don't. In any case, this is a low commit. Oh, look at the sprayed edges. What a fantastic edition. This edition is from 1963 and it cost 60 cents. So I think, you know, there's a theme here. It's books from the 60s. I bet you this was the same donor. That's why they were sitting in a stack. And, you know, I also wonder, this was from the Brooklyn Public Library on Flatbush Avenue, y'all. On Flatbush Avenue. So much I have to say about that. And this publication is 1958. I'll stop there. Stop raving about those. Because if I fall into this rabbit hole, like, so much could happen. So much more manageable, these little mass market paperbacks, and how I could have them and where I could store them and what they mean about me as a reader. But I don't just want to haul books that I don't intend to read. So I need to think through what the opening of Pandora's box that these 3 books means to me. Okay, I managed to put a whole lot of books back. Or to note to self, if they're here next time, I'll grab them. But I still managed to get a lot of other books. So I have a really cute, fun, and flirty Europa Press shelf that is totally arranged the way that I like it. And I just blew that up today. I don't know what that means. And I think what I'm going to do is just not wrecking with my bookshelves until after the holidays, and then make however my bookshelves are going to be, like, be it for whatever not hauling challenge I need to give myself at that time. This is Valerie Perrine's Fresh Water for Flowers. It's translated from the French by Hildegard Cyril. It came with a fantastic postcard, which I will keep in it and use as its bookmark, and then keep it to unhaul. Somewhat more recent book. It's published in 2020. There's some things going on, like an afterword. There's also this really interesting, fantastic underline and then sticky note here that really compelled me to this book. I actually passed it up a couple times just scanning the shelf, and missed, like, the Europa Press signal will pull me in. And then, like, I had a lot of time today, so I went back through everything, and there it was. Same with this book. The Patrina Gaffa, yeah, The Book of Memory, which was obviously longlisted for the Women's Prize, so it fits that, which I'm reading, hauling, thinking about. I'm sure I've heard about this book and I just can't remember. It's from 2015, so it's a little bit older, like 10 years now, but I'm interested in the synopsis, which is moving between vibrant townships of poor and suburbs and country, retreats of the rich. The Book of Memory is, and country retreats of the rich. The Book of Memory is a compelling contemporary tale of love, obsession, and the cruelty of fate. Sold. Okay, I passed this up now several times. When I really considered getting this as my one free book, and I chose a Salman Rushdie instead. I have since read a book with a horse as a character, and I decided that, like, you have to understand, with the nostalgia as well. I need to complete a sentence, I realize. Black Beauty was read and reread and reread and reread, and I was a horse person in my past, like almost like former life kind of past. And that's why this book drew my attention several times. So I just decided to get it today, as I just read a book with a horse as a character, and I loved the horse as the horse was a huge part of why I love the book. So this is Coal Black Horse by Robert Olmsted, and it gives sort of Black Beauty vibes to me, and that's why I want to read it, and that's all I have to say about it. It's published in 2007. Okay, couple just authors who, if I said to myself, if I see another book by this author, I will haul it. And they're authors that I've read. So I passed up authors that I haven't read recently to prioritize today authors that I've read and found another book from. This one is A Swim in a Pond in the Rain, in which 4 Russians give a master class on writing, reading, and life by George Saunders. stunning cover. Really, really liked, albeit, you know, incredibly experimental, but really, really liked Lincoln in the Bardo. The premise of this book also feels compelling. I feel like I have to be in the right mood for it. And as this is now looking at some Russian authors, I have several on my shelves. Who'll be reads or rereads. I like Gogol's short stories. I feel like I love them so much, and I just need to revisit them at this phase in my life. Going on tangents now. What I mean to say is, probably a buddy read and a way to get myself onto my classic shelf could be this book. Look at this cover. Like, it's going to be a display book. I have that to say. Serendipity is exactly what I felt when I found Rabih Almadeen book in this on these shelves. Prior to me reading the true story of Raja the Gullible and his mother and loving that book, I'd never heard of this author. And so, boo to me, and also who can hear of every author, even the prize winners. Anyway, this is an unnecessary woman, and I couldn't be more excited. I just kind of want to read this book right away so that I can sail on my love for the true story of Raja the Gullible. Just ride that into this next book and then call out, like, because how have I never even known him before? Just like continue to manifest that I'm going to run into, more books by this author. Speaking of Europa Press and authors that are endeared but that I have not read yet, this is Elena Ferrante's The Lying Life of Adults, and I love this cover. I like Europa Press's paperbacks better. This is my second Europa Press hardback. Not sure what I'm going to do about that. Bookface is a prompt for the 52 book club, so this could fit for that. And this is another book that I just really want to get into. I don't anticipate not liking Elena Ferrante, but I didn't anticipate not liking Black Cake, and, you know, spoiler alert for the next video, I didn't like it. I did not. So I sure have held a lot of books of hers, and I like her. That being said, she's so popular that this would not be any kind of problem to get on hold to the right reader. Here's another Kurt Vonnegut. I could have convinced him to give it to me for free, but I didn't. And this is A Man Without a Country, and I know that I haven't read this one. This was published in 2005, so one of his later works. Okay, it's got examples from other American authors. Sorry, I got really quiet reading the premise because I didn't. I just said, I'm going to get you Kurt Vonnegut because now it's my, time to think about Kurt Vonnegut again. Along those veins, wrapped in plastic. Is this book, Daphne du Maurier, Haunted Heiress. And I have never read any Daphne du Maurier. When I said that's the author of Rebecca, everybody's like the Rebecca. This is by Nina Auerbach. And apparently, this might be a memoir. This might be some kind of homage to Daphne du Maurier, but maybe even simply because of its wrapping, I wanted it, and I thought that it was like a really stellar find. I was considering not taking it out of the wrap, but to be honest, I don't want a book on my shelf wrapped up in plastic, so unless I'm going to re-gift this along to a Daphne du Maurier fan, of which there are plenty in this world, I'm going to go ahead and keep it, take it out of the wrap, and then maybe call into that. Hopefully it's manifested that I can find some Daphne du Maurier, but the library will have at least Rebecca, right? My third book by Bernard Schlick, Homecoming. I have now The Weekend, which I haven't read, which I was like, I need to read, because I loved The Reader. And now I have this. This obviously is published after The Reader, but I think before The Weekend because it doesn't have The Weekend listed. So this is a 2008 publication. It's translated from the German by Michael Henry Heim. And that is the last book from my tote. And a pretty stellar book haul on a Thursday. Yeah,